I can't give you a picture. Yeah, I want you to treat me as a pupil at the partly trained stage. I have had some lessons with another instructor, and I've had him in a car like this, so I am familiar with the controls. He said today we were going to, he was going to instruct me on how to approach junctions to turn left and to turn right. So there's major roads into minor roads, left and right.
Yep.
Any questions on the word picture?
Nope.
Yeah, it's what level am I?
Partly trained.
And what subject?
Approaching junctions to turn left and right.
That's it. Right, so for this page you can call me Tony, so if you're okay to go on the roll, then I'll leave you the meet and greet.
Okay. Hi Tony.
Hiya.
I'm Maxine.
Hiya.
Yeah, unfortunately your instructor's not around today.
No.
So he's asked me, I spoke to him last night, and he's asked me to look at approaching junctions to turn left or right for the first time with you. He did say last night when I spoke to him that you've done some emerging before. Yeah,
we did a bit of that last week, yeah.
Okay, good. So a lot of this is very similar to that. We use the same routine, which is the MSPSL routine. So when you were doing your emerging to turn left, can you remember what mirrors you were checking?
Oh, middle and left.
Okay, good. So this is a scenario of approaching a junction. So this is before you were coming out of here to turn left. This time we'll be coming along the major road to turn into the minor road. So yeah, you were looking in your left mirror to turn left. This time we will be doing the same, looking in our left mirror to turn left. When were you signalling?
At the appropriate time.
Okay, which is the same as today. How were you positioning yourself?
I was just going a little bit to the left.
Okay, and that's the same as today with the approaching junctions. How were you deciding what speed was appropriate?
It depended on what I could see. It was either walking or kind of jogging.
Okay, and then appropriate gear for those speeds. And whereabouts were you looking when you were doing your emerging?
I was looking minimum of right, left, right, and then in the direction that I was turning.
Okay, well that's a little bit different today. What we will be doing is, if this car is us and we're turning into here, we'll be need to making sure that we're looking for this, if there's a possible oncoming vehicle coming in the opposite direction. Also, we'll be looking into the new road and then making observations as soon as we get into that new road. Okay. What were you looking for when you were doing your emerging? What were you looking for in the new road?
Anything.
Okay, so this time when we're turning in, we need to be making sure we pay particular attention to pedestrians, because this is where people could be crossing the road with a two parts of me. So we need to be looking in. Also, we need to be looking for any parked vehicles that could be here or any obstructions. So that's turning left. So when you were doing your turning right at emerges, what mirrors were you checking to turn right?
Middle and right.
Okay, well this time it's the same as what I just showed you, but in the opposite direction. So we'll be checking our right mirror here to look into that road. When were you signalling for your right emerge?
The appropriate time.
Okay, so that's the same today. How were you positioning yourself?
I was going a little bit near the centre sometimes.
Okay, so just...
Or left of centre.
Yeah, just to the left of the centre line. Okay, so that's what we're going to be positioning ourselves today when we approach this junction to turn right. We're just going to position ourselves to the left of the centre line. And again, how were you judging what speed was appropriate?
I was stopping at most of them because I couldn't see, but he said that it would be jogging if I could see both ways. And it'd be walking pace and first gear if I couldn't see. Okay, good. So that's going to be the same today. We will a lot of the time be having to stop here, like you just said again, because when we get to this position, we're going to be having to make sure we could have potential cars coming in the opposite direction on the opposite side of the road. Yeah. So we need to assess whether we can move across, and that's called crossing the path of these oncoming vehicles. So I'll talk to you about that in a second. Where were you looking when you were doing your right emerge? Right, left, right, minimum, and in the direction I was steering. Okay, so some of that's the same today. This time we'll be needing to make sure we look for these oncoming vehicles, and we also need to be checking that we're looking into the new road like you were before, and checking for pedestrians or parked cars. We need to make sure when we do our right turn that we don't cross this, cut this corner here. I will be picking up a reference point for you so that we make sure that we don't cut this corner. The reasons we don't want to cut this corner is because if we end up taking this, rounding this corner off and cutting this corner, we could end up potentially on the opposite side of the road.
However, there are situations where we may need to do that, because there could be potentially parked cars as soon as we enter this road. So then we'd have no choice to cross the to cut the corner. However, we do need to make sure that before we make that manoeuvre, we check that there are no oncoming vehicles, because we're going to have to move around this car. So if there was an oncoming vehicle here and there was a parked car here and we needed to cut this corner, we would wait, we would let this vehicle go first until it was clear. Crossing the path of these oncoming vehicles, what we need to do is make sure, did he speak to you about how sometimes you judge whether you move out in front of vehicles or across cutting their path?
Or something, I can't remember it now.
Okay, well what we need to do, because we're crossing the path of this vehicle that's coming straight down, so you would need to check that you could walk from this pavement to this pavement without making that car slow, stop or swerve, and if you could, then it would be safe for you to move across. If you couldn't do that in time, you would wait here. So
providing I can walk from there to there, it's safe for me to turn.
And if there's no traffic or pedestrians in this new road, then it's safe for you to turn. Okay, have you got any questions on that?
No, I don't think so, no.
Okay, good. Right, the aims today and the objectives are going to be for us to be able to get to these approaching junction situations, and if you're happy to try and, once we've worked out and taught you how to do it, for you to have a go at doing them yourselves with little or no help from me.
What, immediately?
No, not once I've taught you.
Oh, right.
Yeah, are you happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just quickly speak to you about identification. The way that we can identify them, which we'll talk about on the move, but I'll just briefly explain it to you, is we could be coming along a road and we'd see possibly a road name at the end of a road, or cars turning off from the road we're on, or turning off, coming opposite us into a road. Sometimes, very rarely, we'll get a sign to let us know that there's a turn-in.
Yeah.
But I'll point those out to you and we'll start working on identification when we get moving. Okay, so if you'd like to set yourself up.
Yeah.
Happy?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell me what you can see in this middle mirror?
I can see the headlining at the top. A bit of my head was straight and a bit of yours. I can square the whole back window.
Okay, good. And in the left mirror?
I can see about 2 fingers to the car. I can see the roof of that building. I see that Learner car parked behind me in the middle.
Okay, good. And in the right mirror?
The same.
Okay, brilliant. So when you're ready, and it's safe to do so, if you'd like to move off, Tony.
Right. Turn left at the end.
And we're going to turn left at the end. Now with these approaching junctions, because like I mentioned in the brief, it's
what brief?
The one I just did, but where we will potentially, and we're going to turn right here, but we'll potentially come up against pedestrians that are wanting to cross the road at the paths. So if we were first to spot a pedestrian, what we would do is we would look at their body language. If we saw a pedestrian standing on the pavement facing towards the road, we would, as soon as we saw them, look at their body language and try and pick out some clues and assess what they may be intending to do. If we approached a junction and we saw a pedestrian who'd already got onto the road from the pavement and we're going to turn left, we would stop and let that pedestrian go, because if we didn't, we could end up potentially hitting that pedestrian. If we came up to a junction, approaching a junction, and we saw a pedestrian or somebody that you knew standing on the pavement, we'd make sure that we never ever beckon that pedestrian across. The reason for this is if you beckon that pedestrian across and somebody came in the opposite direction on the opposite side of the road, hadn't realised that you'd allowed that pedestrian to cross, then they could also potentially hit that pedestrian. So we make sure we never ever beckon a pedestrian across.
Done this junction last week.
Okay.
You okay there, no?
Yeah, you did.
And we're going to turn right.
And we're going to turn right.
This is what I was doing last week.
Yeah. Let's have a look and see how you do. Good positioning. Good anticipation with the pedestrian there.
I looked at his body language.
And because he saw that you looked at him, he was aware that you realised he was there.
So I've done well there, didn't I?
You did do well.
Must have learned something last week, after all then.
And I liked the way you did your observations there before you moved off.
Oh, thank you.
So this here is approaching a junction.
Approaching the junction?
Yeah, we've got a gap there.
Oh, that is a junction?
Yeah, that is a junction. Oh. See gaps in the houses, in the shops. You can see pedestrians crossing the road.
Oh, my wife once turned into a gap. She thought it was a turning. It wasn't. It was an entrance to a car park.
Yeah. You would apply the same rules though to the entrance of a car park.
Yeah, she didn't want to go on the edge of the car park.
Oh right, she got a bit lost.
Yeah.
So we've got one there on the right, it's the gap, and we've got a road sign, road name.
There's markings as well, isn't there?
There is markings. We've got one on the left here, and we've got a giveaway line. Do you think this one's here?
Oh yeah, yeah. No lines though.
It possibly may have been, but the road it looks like the surface is worn away a little bit, so you can't always see them. Turn right. So Tony, what I want you to do, we can't see much, so I want you to get to speed down to walking pace and change into first gear. Position yourself good positioning. And what I want you to do is, once you need to move forwards a little bit for me and stop.
Why are they all doing this behind me?
Oh, we didn't indicate, sorry, that's my fault.
But it's seen behind me.
We need to indicate to the right. What we need to do now is we're going to have cars coming towards us. We need to decide whether we can walk from one side of the road to the opposite side of the road. If we can, without making that car slow stop us well, we can move on. So can we see anyone coming now?
No.
Okay, so we need to look into the new road. Is it clear?
Yeah.
And we can turn into the new road.
It's clear.
Okay, so move away and turn the steering towards you. What? I don't know what you're getting me at now. Oh, you're in first gear. So he's flashed us, so we can move off in front. So turn the steering towards you.
Oh, did I turn too late?
Yeah, you did turn too late.
Out of roll.
Yeah.
Since you had me there, why didn't I pick up a reference point?
I was going to, but I didn't really want to keep us sitting on that main road. I thought I'd do that in a bit.
Yeah, well, I'm still out of roll. Did you ask me what mirrors I'm going to check?
No.
Did you ask me when I was going to indicate?
No, my fault.
On the left.
And we're going to take the next turning on the left, Tony. So what I want you to do is check your middle mirror. Check your middle mirror, Tony. Check it for any cars or the speeding distance of the car behind. And then we're going to check our left mirror. Check it, Tony. Right. Checking for anyone coming up the inside. So indicate left now. Get the speed down to walking pace and put it into first gear. And I want you to steer to me. Steer to me. Stop.
Stop.
Lift the clutch up. No, stop the steering. Lift the clutch up. And we can keep moving. So when we change gear and we put our hand back onto the steering wheel, we need to remember hand up, clutch up. We need to make sure we come off that clutch.
Do I?
Yeah.
Good luck at getting me to do that, Maxine, without giving me a reason, yeah?
So that we're not coasting with the clutch down.
Coasting?
The car won't move anywhere with the clutch down, so you need to bring the clutch up.
Turning left.
And we're going to turn left.
We should stay out of roll for a second, yeah?
Yeah.
Could you not ask me what mirrors I'm going to check on the patch?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. You didn't do it anyway when I asked you to do it.
Sorry?
You didn't do it anyway when I asked you to do it.
Why do you always add so... add another scenario onto the end of the question I gave you, yeah?
Yeah, but you didn't. I said check your mirror and you didn't do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Tony right.
Okay, we're going to turn right. So what mirrors do you think we might need to check?
Middle and right.
Okay, do it then, Tony. And the right one.
Oh, sorry.
And indicate now. Okay, and get that position what you spoke about just to the left of the centre line. And I want you to cover the brake, change into first gear. And you need to start turning. I should have got you to stop. That's my fault. And in the new road, we need to check our...
Struggle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's my fault. I should have got you to turn earlier. I should have got you to cover the brake and stop.
End of the road, left.
At the end of the road, we're going to turn left. Good mirrors.
Yeah, they were good, but the mirror's okay there then?
Yeah. So that's what you need to do for when you're approaching junctions. When I say what mirrors are you going to check, you need to make sure you check those mirrors. What do you check that middle mirror before?
Oh, distance speed.
Okay, and what were you checking that left mirror for then?
Bicycles.
Okay, and when you check when you're turning right, what do you check your middle mirror for then?
Distance speed.
And your right one.
Anybody overtaking me?
Okay, so that's what we need to make sure.
Anybody overtaking me?
Okay, and what if there was somebody overtaking?
I'd let them go.
Okay, so that's what we need to make sure
I'd let them go.
Okay, why would you let them go?
Because they'd hit me.
Okay, so that's what we need to apply when I say what mirrors you're going to check. Those are the same reasons.
Right.
Okay, so when you're ready, if you want to move off, Tony.
And turning left.
And we're going to turn left. Good positioning there. How did you judge that position there turn left? To keep you a nice distance from the curb.
My instructor said last week that if I damage his alloys, I pay for them.
Okay,
so he got me to pick the curb up in the corner of that window.
Okay, can you think of any other reasons why it's important?
He said I might hit pedestrians.
Okay, so this is the position that you're going to do when we do a left.
He said something else, I'm trying to think.
Okay.
Are you in a hurry?
No.
He said something else, I'm trying to think. Oh, if I'm too straight. I'm trying to remember what he said now.
Do you want me to help you?
Oh, I got wide.
Okay.
I hit an oncoming car, yeah?
Yeah. And also, what might happen to your steering as well?
Be all over the place.
Yeah, you'd have to do a lot more steering.
A bit like I was in them left-hand turns.
Yeah. So that's the positioning that we need when we do a left approach the junction to turn left.
New road, new mirrors.
Good.
To do as well.
Yeah, that was good.
And we're going to turn left, just opposite the bollard.
Okay, we're going to turn just left up by the second bollard. So what mirrors are you going to check, Tony? Okay, do it then, Tony. And the left one?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, and we need to indicate now. And we're going to pick up that reference point to follow that round. We need to be looking at that car in front of us and now turn.
Oh,
good.
Right, yeah.
So that speed was okay then because it was quite an open junction. So we could see quite a lot into it. So it wasn't too much
rumbling a bit, isn't it?
Too much of a problem. We were in third gear. We could, because we approached at jogging pace, we really needed to take it down into second. Turn it pull over on the left there, Tony.
Well, I'm going to come out rather than it.
Okay.
Are you taking some special tablets or something?
Why?
Slow it all down a bit, yeah?
I'll try. Okay. I'll try.
Yeah?
But it's because you're coming up at the speed. I'm not slowing you.
I've never done left and right hand turns before, have I?
No, I know.
Yeah? Yeah, it's the... If you make the link with the mirrors, which I've done last week, and the signal...
Yeah.
I'll go with it, yeah?
Yeah. And then I can pass it back.
You know, we haven't had anything about speed.
No.
Anything about look. What to look for.
Yeah.
You've got to do that bit, yeah?
It's so tough.
Sorry?
This one's tough.
No, you've got to think about what you've got to teach me. That's different from last week, yeah?
Yeah.
Go drive on?
Yes, when you're ready and it's safe to do so.
Next on the left.
And we're going to take the next turning on the left, honey. So what mirrors do you think you're going to check?
Middle, left.
Good. And when are you going to indicate?
About now.
Okay, good. So what I want you to do is come up with, change to, cover the brake and bring the speed down to walking pace. Put it into first gear.
Oh, storm really.
Okay, and we need to pick up that reference point for turning left, when we did the left emerges. That's it, good. And we need to be looking in the new road, and when we enter the new road, we need to check.
Oh, new mirrors, yeah.
Good.
And turning left.
And we're going to turn left. Good. Indicate. Brilliant. And can we see?
I could see well into that road there a few minutes ago.
Okay, but I was trying to get it slowed down so I could teach you the whole routine in one go, so we can make sure we do the correct observations.
I don't know the car behind was really happy, was he?
He wasn't. I can't speak any quicker. Or think any quicker.
So it was first gear and walking pace the right speed there?
For me to be able to speak quick enough, yes, but for you you could have taken it as second gear and jogging pace. It depends on whether the junction is an open or closed junction, or how much if we can see quite a way into that junction.
I can see right into that one.
Okay, so then
and we're going to turn left.
We would usually use the rule,
left.
and we're going to turn left. Usually use the rule of, if we can see, we go at jogging pace in second gear. If we can't see, we approach at walking pace and move into first gear.
Could you help me with that then?
Yes.
And turning left.
And we're going to turn left. Good mirrors and indicator there.
Okay.
And good positioning again.
Yeah, I don't know that curve will go too wide, do I?
No. And how do you judge that?
Reference point. Turning right.
Okay, good. And we're going to turn right. So what mirrors are you going to check, Tony?
Middle, right.
And when do you think it's appropriate to indicate?
Yeah.
Can you see into that road?
Not at the moment.
Okay, so cover the brake, bring the speed down, change into first gear. And can we walk from one side of the road to the other?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so if you move on, so we've got a car behind us. Good, and looking into the new road, we need to be making sure we look into that new road, because there could be a pedestrian, there could be a backup of traffic. And if we're not looking, we can either hit that car or hit that pedestrian. I'm quite happy you can do the mirrors and the indicator at a good time. So if I leave those two to you and we'll work on the other bits. You happy with that?
And turning left.
And we're going to turn left.
Actually, sorry, turning right.
And we're going to turn right. So how are you judging this speed here?
Sorry?
How are you judging whether this is an appropriate speed to enter this?
Based on what I can see.
Okay, good. So that's again like the rules that we need to follow to approach a junction. Like you're judging here whether you can see, and bringing the car to an appropriate speed to match whether you can see or whether